The miners produced 830,000 or 830 million ounces of silver this year approximately. So, you'd have to hold back quite a lot, to impact that market. And, the big guys are all, as I said, concentrate producers. Yeah. So the big group out of Poland, a lot of the big mines, in Mexico and, in Peru, Argentina, these are all concentrate producers. So, holding back their metal is almost impossible. If you're a doré producer, as we are.
Good evening, and welcome to the Economy Express channel, your trusted source for breaking news and expert insights in global markets. Tonight, we dive into an electrifying topic that has the potential to redefine investment strategies and industrial dynamics alike. Keith Neumeyer, the CEO of First Majestic Silver, has shared a vision for silver that is as compelling as it is transformative. If you're an investor, industrial strategist, or simply curious about where the world is heading, you won't want to miss this. Silver has long been overshadowed by its glitzier counterpart, gold, often referred to as the poor man's gold. But according to Neumeyer, this label couldn't be further from the truth.
If we've got 3 mines that are producing doré, we can just put it in a warehouse, right? And it's much easier. You would have to have the whole silver industry do it together. And in my discussions with other CEOs of other silver companies, because I have had these types of discussions. I remember, it was a couple of years ago when silver was down at, like $14. I think it was, in June of, 2017 or 2018. I forget. But I was at a meeting with a whole group of the CEOs. And I said, why don't we just say in June, we're going to hold back all our silver. We're not going to sell any silver in the month of June. And that, they all looked at me like, I've been selling silver for a long time. The silver story. Silver is always looked at as, or not always, but predominantly looked at as the poor man's gold. And I'm always saying, no, it's not gold. Gold is money. Silver is a strategic metal necessary for everything that we need to do as a human race. So we want to go green. We want to create computers and then create nuclear plants and, electric cars and all the things that we're trying to do, to clean up our electrical grid throughout the planet and even supply energy and electricity to parts of the globe that currently don't have electricity. We're going to need a lot more silver. And people need to wake up to that story and need to have silver as part of their portfolio. People get frustrated with me when I say that because there's a lot of people out there that believe that silver should be a currency, and should be part of our financial system. It's interesting enough that the Russians and the Chinese and the Indians are buying silver, for their central banks. So, I could be wrong with my thesis, but, I just think that there's so little silver around. And I have a chart, on my presentation this afternoon that shows that there's about 1.2 billion ounces of inventory, on the surface of the earth currently. And that's 1 year of consumption. So there's only 1 year of supply available. And that's, how are you going to produce coins? How's the government going to actually introduce silver into the financial market? I don't know how they can possibly do it. Gold, you could, but gold is somewhat difficult because there's such a high value. And you're going to walk around with an ounce of gold in your pocket to buy a loaf of bread. It makes it tough. Silver would make some sense, but look, I think that industry needs silver to do all the things that we've talked about. And I think that's where most of the silver will be going. There'll always be a market, for coins and bars and so on. And, that's a market that we're trying to supply. That's why we opened up our own mint, earlier this year. And we're happily selling silver to, retail investors around the world.
Silver is not just an alternative to gold. It is an indispensable strategic metal. Its applications range from powering renewable energy to driving advancements in electric vehicles and electronics. This dual role, as both a financial asset and an industrial necessity, places silver in a unique and increasingly critical position. Let's start by examining the numbers that frame the story. The global silver inventory currently stands at approximately 1.2 billion ounces. At first glance, that may sound like a lot, but it represents only 1 year's worth of global consumption. Imagine a world where silver supplies run dry in just 12 months. This razor-thin margin highlights the precarious balance between supply and demand. Compounding the issue are annual supply deficits of 300 to 400 million ounces, a trend that shows no signs of slowing. Neumeyer emphasizes that silver's supply challenges are not just a result of industrial demand but also of structural limitations within the market itself. Most major silver producers are concentrate miners, making it logistically challenging to withhold supply to influence prices. In fact, coordinated efforts to restrict silver production, while theoretically appealing, would require unprecedented global cooperation among miners operating under vastly different economic and regulatory conditions. Neumeyer's own attempt to rally industry leaders to hold back silver during a low price period underscores just how fragmented the market is.
Together, as I said, over 20 years ago. So, I predict when I put the company together, I predicted $50 silver. It happened. It took 10 years to do it, but it hit there. But I didn't predict that silver would drop all the way down to 12, and stay between 12 and 15 for a couple of years. And that was very difficult. We had to lay off a number of people and, curtail exploration, curtail development, and, we had to sell a couple of mines and, lower, profitable mines. So it was a challenging environment. Now we're back over 30. Today's a great day. I'm sure you're watching gold and silver today.
A little bit.
Yeah. So we're having a great day in the market today. But, I'm a bull on silver, and I always have been. You know me. I came up with the phrase of, triple digit silver years ago. I've seen other people copy that phrase now, so hopefully I'll be right. I think I will be ultimately, but silver is a bit of an annoying metal. If you look at the chart, over the last 20 years, it's only hit $30 three times in our lifetime, actually. So you go back, even longer than that. So it is a bit of a psychological resistance level. So, once it does break out, I think it's going to be pretty, amazing move after that, but it's got to consolidate. It's got to jump around a little bit. And, seeing gold pop through 2,700 today and silver now, strongly above 31, maybe this move will start to, start again. But, we're going to year end, we're going into, Christmas and, generally, December's not normally
seasonally weaker.
Yeah, seasonally weaker. So, but January, February, March could be very strong months. But I didn't, we didn't buy Gatos because we think silver is going to move tomorrow. Yeah. I can't really think like that. I have to look at the long-term health of the business. So when we're doing M&A, we got to look out 5 to 10 years. And what does the business look like? And, if we're lucky and then silver goes to $50 or triple digits, as I'm suggesting it may, then all of a sudden, becomes great for our shareholders. Whether it's the paper markets that keep it, down. I have a presentation later today talking about silver. And there were some slides in there that addresses this point. But, we trade at, 240 to 1, in paper versus an ounce of silver. So for every 1 ounce of physical metal that trades, 240 ounces of the paper metal trades daily. And that's pretty amazing. So does that affect price? It probably does. But at the end of the day, these banks that are trading the metal, for the big commercial buyers, the big, the BMWs, the, Teslas, the, Panasonics, the Sonys of the world that are consumers of this silver, they have to buy the metal at some point. And when you're running deficits that 300, 400 million ounce deficits every year for multiple years, that's got to show up in price. I think it is showing up in price right now. This move to over 30, is fairly just really in the last 6 months. I think people are starting to wake up to the green story. They're starting to wake up to the importance of silver, the fact that it is a strategic.
Welcome to Economy Express, your go-to destination for all things economics and finance. Whether you're an experienced investor, an inquisitive student, or just someone who wants to stay ahead in today's ever-changing economic landscape, you've come to the right place. Now, let's get into the details of our news.
Now, let's talk about the demand side of the equation. Silver's industrial applications are nothing short of revolutionary. It's a cornerstone of the green revolution, playing a vital role in technologies like solar panels, electric vehicles, and next-generation electronics. For instance, a typical photovoltaic solar panel uses about 20 grams of silver, and with nations around the globe ramping up renewable energy commitments, the demand for silver is set to surge. A recent report by the Silver Institute projects that demand from the solar industry alone could reach 140 million ounces annually by 2030. And it doesn't stop there. The rise of electric vehicles and advanced electronics adds another layer to this demand. Companies like Tesla, Sony, and BMW are heavily reliant on silver for their cutting-edge products. The implication is clear: as these industries expand, the pressure on silver supplies will only intensify, creating a perfect storm for significant price movements. Yet, despite this growing demand, the silver market faces another intriguing challenge: the disconnect between physical silver and paper silver. Neumeyer sheds light on a startling statistic. The ratio of paper silver trades to physical silver is an eye-popping 240 to 1. This means that for every ounce of physical silver traded, there are 240 ounces of speculative trades in the futures market. While this imbalance has historically suppressed prices, Neumeyer argues that it cannot last indefinitely. Industrial buyers will eventually have to secure actual silver, driving up prices as they compete for increasingly limited supplies. And what about central banks? Traditionally, these institutions have focused on gold as their reserve asset of choice. However, there's a quiet but significant shift happening. Countries like China, India, and Russia are beginning to stockpile silver, not just for industrial purposes but as a hedge against currency volatility and geopolitical risks. Could silver eventually play a role in global monetary systems? While Neumeyer remains skeptical, he acknowledges that this evolving narrative adds another fascinating dimension to silver's story. Neumeyer also reflects on silver's price history, describing it as a roller coaster ride. From hitting $50 per ounce after a decade-long rally to plunging to $12 and hovering there for years, silver has tested the resilience of both miners and investors. But the recent rally above $30 per ounce signals a potential turning point. Breaking through psychological resistance levels like $30 could pave the way for what Neumeyer terms triple-digit silver. Yes, that's $100 or more per ounce, a figure that might seem like a distant dream but is entirely plausible given the current supply-demand dynamics. For Neumeyer, the path to triple-digit silver is not just about market speculation, it's about fundamentals. Rising industrial demand, constrained supply, and increasing awareness of silver's strategic value are aligning in its favor. He emphasizes that while daily price movements can be frustrating, particularly for retail investors, the key is to adopt a long-term perspective. His own company, First Majestic Silver, reflects this philosophy by focusing on sustainable growth and making acquisitions with a 5 to 10-year horizon. Before we wrap up, it's worth noting one of Neumeyer's most intriguing points: the idea that silver is not merely a commodity but a cornerstone of progress. Its unique properties, conductivity, reflectivity, and antimicrobial qualities make it irreplaceable in many industrial applications. As the world grapples with challenges like climate change and technological innovation, silver's role becomes not just important but indispensable. So, what does this mean for you, the investor? Neumeyer's insights are a call to action. Whether you're a retail investor, an industrial player, or a policymaker, the message is clear: silver is not just a speculative asset, it's a strategic resource with the potential to deliver substantial returns while shaping a sustainable future. As we look ahead, the silver market's journey promises to be both challenging and rewarding. Stay tuned to the Economy Express channel for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter for timely notifications on silver and gold prices. Together, let's navigate the exciting road ahead in precious metals markets. Thank you for watching.